When I was growing up, one of my least favorite things to do with my weekend was going to the dentist. I went back after a long hiatus from the dentist, and the smell walking in made me really nauseous. Like, all these memories of my cavities and drilling in my teeth from the past came flooding back to me. See, when I was a kid, all you got for going to the dentist was a new toothbrush and a pack of floss. And the dentist and myself knew that I was never gonna use it, even though I promised every time that I would. But nowadays, you go into a kid's dentist office, they have slides, a whole wall with a display of prizes that you can pick to take home for doing such a great job at the dentist and doing such a great job with your teeth. They even have TVs above the dentist chairs. It's crazy. When I was a kid, there was soft jazz music playing through the intercom and a few posters in a room of tacky nature scenes, which I always thought was kind of strange. Like, how is this picture of a semi-rabid squirrel in the wild helpful while the dentist is literally drilling holes in my teeth? What am I supposed to do staring at some stock photo of a waterfall in such a traumatic situation? I mean, sure, nature is nice to look at, but beyond that, are we supposed to be doing something or not doing something about nature? In this world, it's hard to know exactly what any of us has a part to do with it. Well, there's all kinds of reasons for this and why people like you may care about creation and the place that we live. Maybe you're somebody who really enjoys the outdoors and enjoys being in nature. Maybe you're more of an indoorsy person than an outdoorsy person, and you couldn't read a compass to save your life. But maybe for you, there's something about flowers and sunsets and rooftop sunsets at your building where you live that catches your attention. No matter what you feel about the outside world, one thing is true. We all feel something about creation, whether we realize it or not. There is something about mountains and volcanoes and branches, city sunsets, dandelions, blue skies, pine trees, palm trees, and the first flakes of snow, and even the smell of fresh cut grass. There's just something about all of that stuff that makes us feel something. The real question is why? Why do we feel that? Why do we care? Why do humans of different ages and different beliefs and even different family dynamics and experience all the same thing, an emotional response towards nature? I know, this is a deep question, but it's fascinating though, right? And maybe this question that you're asking right now is, why are we talking about this at church at all? Why do volcanoes and waterfalls and sunsets have anything to do with God or the Bible anyways? And why does that matter to me? That's a great question. Let me show you, because I think that what we're about to discover will change the way that you see the world around you and may even give us a clue into why people care about creation and why God cares too. So we're gonna look at a psalm today, which is a good old word that basically means poem. There is an entire book of psalms or poems in the Bible, and they talk about almost everything. Some psalms express frustration with God. At the same time, they express worship towards Him. They mention people's hurts and anger towards enemies while addressing promises of God's faithfulness. They cover all emotions. The Psalms we're going to look at today are from chapter 19, and it basically explains how looking at creation can make us feel and what it can do for us, and reminds us that we aren't the only ones who feel this way about the world. So let's go ahead and check out this psalm. So David is the author of this psalm, and he's basically saying that just being in creation is somewhat like reading the Bible. It's like going to church. It's a spiritual experience. It's hearing God's voice when you're surrounded by His amazing world that He created. That's what all those kind of strange words that he used, pours forth speech, or proclaim, or their voice goes out. That's what they mean. David is saying nature is talking to us about God. Creation points to the Creator. Paying attention to creation gives us a chance to know the Creator better. After God has made everything that makes up the world that we live in, including humans, the writer in Genesis goes on to say what God did. And what he did is this. So when we talk about the planet and we talk about creation, we aren't just talking about something your earth science teacher talks about. We're talking about something that God cares a lot about and made us to care about too. In other words, caring for creation isn't some trendy idea. It's a spiritual idea, and it's an ancient idea. It is God's idea. So what does that mean for us? What exactly does this look like? There are a lot of different ways people think about caring for the world. So what's the best? Where do we start? What does God have in mind for us? Well, the truth is, when it comes to the role we can play, it honestly looks different for everyone. And a lot of it will depend on how exactly you see nature and the outside world now. This could be something as simple as getting outside more. Maybe paying attention to the creation around you, whether you live in a city, the suburbs, or a rural community. There's most likely a part of nature that you haven't noticed in a while, like maybe sunsets. Stop and notice the way that creation points to the Creator and what God notices about the world around you. How do you declare glory in the heavens that God created? Take one step toward being more responsible with what has been entrusted to you. Maybe that means you volunteer to pick up trash around your school, or choosing to recycle your daily bottle from the vending machine. Maybe this weekend it means helping clean up the land around your church. In other words, maybe your first step is treating the planet like God made it for you, and for you to genuinely honor it. For some of you, you have cared so much about the planet for so long that you're losing sleep because of your anxiety over it. For you, maybe you got the protect and serve part of creation down, but you need to spend more time actually enjoying it, getting outside and experiencing what God has made, appreciating it as good, still being passionate about it, but not losing sight of the gift that the planet can be for us. Remember that just like we need to treat the planet like God created it, you need to treat yourself like God created you, and rest and breathe. Do your part, but don't feel pressured into thinking that taking care of the entire planet all depends on you. When it comes to caring for the place that we live, the place that God made, everyone should do their part. But not everyone's part has to look the same. In fact, it should look different. Only you know what works for your life. But no matter what you decide to do, the point is the same, to treat the planet like God created it. Because it is important to care for what God has entrusted to us. When we remember that the world around us was made with a purpose and care, it will change the way that we see and treat it. God intended for us to do this, and as the creation that points to your Creator, it's our responsibility to enjoy it. One of the things that I love about getting together with you every week is it reminds me of how big God really is. Every time we meet, I am reminded that God is more interesting, more powerful, more creative, more able, and more loving than I could ever imagine. And that's what I hope happens with you this week. I hope that you use this as an opportunity to see God in the creation around you and to remind you each how big and amazing and awe-inspiring God is and how He works through all of you.